Hi, it's Marina here. If you grew up with a narcissistic father or a father that was emotionally unavailable, you would not have felt safe around them. You wouldn't have felt emotionally safe. You would have felt like you had to walk on eggshells around them because you may never have known when they were going to completely explode or get incredibly angry or have a big reaction to you. And when we've had that experience over and over and over and over again, we no longer know what it feels like to feel safe with somebody that's strong. We no longer know what it feels like to be fully supported. So instead of being supported, we get control. Instead of that father supporting us to become the strong individuals, the strong, amazing individuals that we are, instead, we get controlled. And when we've had that, particularly in our childhoods, we actually don't know what support actually is. And then we don't even know how to support ourselves as adults because we've actually never really had it modeled. Because what we thought was support was actually control. And the control was do it my way or you're out. Do what I say or you're going to get punished. Do not be different to me. Do not self-differentiate from me or my opinion. It's my way and it's only my way. And so when we grow up with consistently feeling and hearing this message, we start to go, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna not show you my vulnerability because I'm not safe. I'm not going to show you that I'm hurt or I'm scared or I'm afraid. I'm not going to open up to you. I'm going to close off and I'm going to do as much as I can without bringing you into my world. I'm going to do as much as I can on my own. And we end up becoming lone rangers. And then as we come into adulthood, we wonder why we're doing a lot of our life on our own and we're not getting the support we need. And that is because we don't actually know what it would feel like to be fully supported and to be safe, to be supported, to actually let it in. If you think about it, if somebody in your life really listens to you, really sees you, and it's almost like you could hear a pin drop, just like a little part of you swallow and go, God, because they're really seeing you. Because at some point you would have closed off that vulnerability to stay safe, because the very person that should have made you feel safe and made you safe didn't. And so what I see is a lot of people growing up, and see if this is you, where you have that narcissistic father, right? This is like the father wound, and it could have been a narcissistic caregiver, right? Could have been an uncle, could have been your older brother, it could have been anybody that's that masculine principle, where you feel like the one person that should stand up for you when somebody else is in the wrong and you're in the right, and they don't. They're going to side with the perpetrator. The one person that should back you and believe in you, no matter what the outside world is saying, doing, or whatever, they don't. They're going to back the outside world. So this masculine energy, this father energy, this whole masculine, we all have masculine in us. But when we've got it in the outside world, and it was the first experience we had with the masculine, when the masculine wasn't really masculine, it was only really masculine for itself. It only really wanted to protect itself. It only really wanted to keep itself safe. It only really wanted to back itself and stand up for itself. When it was so kind of selfish and it was all about itself and never about you, we go, well, I've got to build this masculine energy in me, and I'm going to keep myself safe. And so I'm going to be this lone ranger and do it on my own because I can't trust you. You're meant to keep me safe. You're meant to protect me. And the only person you're doing that for is you. And some parents didn't grow up with it being modeled to them either. I'm not making excuses for abuse at all, ever, 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 ever. But some fathers were just emotionally unavailable and just didn't know how to be that backstop, that support for you. So if that's you, I am really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. And it's for you now and for anybody that you know of that had this experience to start to change their relationship with support and to actually say, well, if I grew up thinking that what I got was support, but actually it was control. That control may have been physical control, but it may have been emotional control, emotional manipulation, gaslighting, where they denied your feelings, your reality, and how you felt, how they affected you. They denied that. They minimized your feelings. When you thought, and this is what I see with a lot of clients that I have, particularly in with covert narcissistic abuse, where it appears to all intents and purposes that you've got great parents. They'll even say that they're great, you know, and they'll be out in the outside world and it will all be great. But behind closed doors, there can be a lot of that control. And when you thought that you had support, but actually you had control, you're going to push away control. Sorry, you're going to push away support, right? Because you won't know what real support looks like. All you'll know is that if somebody else appears to come in and support you, you're probably going to see it as control and you're going to back it away. You are going to literally repel that thing away from you. And so a lot of the work for us now, if you are a survivor and a thriver of narcissistic abuse, is to shift your relationship with support and go, right, well, if I have seen support as control, is that why I don't have many supportive people around me now? Is that why I'm still much more likely to support somebody else and be the supporter, but not actually be the supported? Is that why I have a lot of these uneven relationships where I give, but I don't receive? Because that masculine principle is actually about me receiving safety, support, right? And it might be that if you were like, well, when I was younger, I didn't want to receive any of it because it felt dangerous to me. So instead of receiving, I blocked it all off, became a lone ranger, did it myself. And now as an adult, I'm wondering why I'm still doing so much on my own. I have all these relationships that are not reciprocal. It's all about them, not about me. And I end up just going, well, I'm kind of lonely here because in a sense, it's almost like I can't have these great relationships. So when we can heal that masculine principle in us and actually give ourselves real support, where we actually back our dreams, back ourselves, stand up for ourselves, when we feel upset, hurt, taken advantage of, dismissed, ignored, whatever it is, and we know how to genuinely support ourselves without attacking anybody, without doing any of the stuff that was modeled to us before, we begin this incredibly healing journey where we get to be the support that we never got. We get to support ourselves, like unconditional support. And so it doesn't matter if somebody else out there isn't supporting us, is blaming us, there's a smear campaign, whatever. We're like, you know what? I'm going to back myself. I'm going to support myself. And that means me being really focused on me and my dreams and where I'm going. And that can be one of the most healing things you can do for yourself right now. So if you had a father and, you know, now later on, you're like, wow, that was really narcissistic. And I'm seeing this across the board. It's happening in a lot of places, right? So if this is you, you're not on your own. And you didn't get the safety because you felt nervous a lot around your father and you didn't get the support. Instead, you got control. How can you really make yourself now feel safe through real self-support. This means really looking after yourself. This means actually having boundaries, especially when no one around you likes the boundaries but you. I know all about that. This is you genuinely listening to yourself, hearing yourself, and actually backing yourself regardless of where you are, how tired you are, what you thought your day was going to be. It's like, you know what? I'm going to be the support that I never knew I could be. And asking for support from people that you feel emotionally safe with. When you can do that, and that doesn't even need to be people in your inner circle, people around you. If you have nobody that you can ask, this might be you just going into a supermarket and asking somebody, where is the washing up liquid, for example? Where is it? I can't find it. And actually allowing yourself to receive support, because that masculine principle that I see is actually about support and safety. And so how can we give this now to ourselves? And as we do it to ourselves and we realize, you know what, it feels really nice. It feels really yummy. Actually, I love supporting me. And this is not, by the way, this is not like if you feel you've done too much on your own, this is not, oh my God, I have to do even more on my own. It's actually like real support where it's not that we become overdoing. We exhaust ourselves in the day. It's like real emotional support for yourself, right? Where you don't blame yourself, you don't attack yourself, you're gentle on yourself, you go easy on yourself. It's the opposite of being really hard on yourself. And you give yourself what your dad didn't or couldn't give you or wouldn't give you, where you validate yourself, you back yourself and your dreams. I feel like I'm saying it a lot, but I feel like I really want to say it because it's so important. You back yourself and your dreams and you have your boundaries, right? You don't need to engage with anybody that is hurtful to you, toxic to you, leaves you worse than when you first found them. You don't need to do any of that. The rest of your life can actually be now about you building the most amazing life for yourself, where you really are your own best friend, right? Because look at you, you're utterly amazing. I hope this really supports you. If you've not been able to receive support easily or ask for support easily, to see maybe where it came from for you, and to give you a pathway out of here where you're like, well, if I can start genuinely supporting myself in the areas that I haven't been able to yet, that might be financially supporting yourself, emotionally supporting yourself, maybe physically supporting yourself, right? It could be exercise. It could be like, I'm going to create an amazing home for myself, whatever it was that you didn't get. You start to change everything. And as you change everything from here, you begin to create a world that starts to shift right with you and starts to up level with you, because you deserve to be utterly supported, loved, and to feel and be completely safe. Loads of love to you.